Well, usually at this time of year, many young people have graduated from university or FET institutions and they are ready to enter the workforce. However, a formal education doesn't quite teach you about being work ready and how to conduct yourself during a job interview or prepare a remarkable CV, or for that matter, how do you sell yourself? So to give us a little more insight into this, we're joined now by Lydia Siziba, who is a marketing manager for PPS Foundation. Lydia, thanks for coming through. Firstly, PPS Foundation, what's that about?
Well, firstly, good morning and thank you for having me. The PPS Foundation was established in 2016 and the mandate is to help facilitate opportunities for the youth of South Africa, particularly those that are studying within the science, technology, engineering, as well as mathematics fields, to mention a few. This we do within various pillars such as the bursary program, the graduate internship development program, the university support program, and also the employee and member volunteerism, as well as the Professionals Connect portal. And this is a youth outreach platform. It's a website which is its intention is to help youth access opportunities in the form of jobs, mentorship, as well as information pertaining to how to best prepare themselves for the place of work.
Lydia, the place of work at the moment is such a competitive space, and naturally one would have to stand out. And starting at the very beginning, because most workplaces would ask for a CV. And when I saw you coming this morning, I was like, where were you yesterday? I needed you yesterday because I have a 20-year-old and he needed to send a CV to a workplace. And I didn't know what to put on it because he hasn't worked. He's out of school and went to uni, but that's it. And after putting the subjects that, he had done, I didn't know what to do with the thing.
Remember, this is a piece of document that you can also use to brag. So whatever accolades that he received within high school, tertiary institution as well, that's an opportunity for him to also put that there. So at that phase in life, you put your accolades, achievements, or any other random jobs that, the graduates typically do. It gives an indication that you have interpersonal skills, for instance, even if you've worked as a waitress or a cashier, it's a first entry level job.
Yeah, because you see, and I needed you yesterday because then I had to Google for 2-3 hours to find out what to do and what not to do. But then there was also some conflicting information, like, for example, do you or don't you put a picture on your CV?
That also depends on the type of organization that you're applying for. So it's very important to do research as well. I usually advise to not send bulk emails when applying for jobs. Customize your CV, customize your covering letter. It must speak to the skills that are being requested. So in instances where you don't have those particular skills, best mention the ones that you actually do have. That way you also increase your chances of standing out or being noticed that much better.
And how long should it be?
So for a graduate, I would say 3 pages maximum. There isn't much that you would have attained from a job experience perspective. Find things that make you stand out as an individual. It's important to be authentic. So as much as it's a job, there's a specific job description that might be entailed. See how to best align yourself to the job description. See how you can highlight your skill sets as a way of standing out. So 3 pages maximum. You don't have to reach the 3-page maximum. It's just advisable.
My poor child might not get the job because I couldn't get beyond 1 page. I thought for a minute of maybe increasing the font, to move on to page 2, but I decided against it. But then you pass the CV now, and now you need to go and conduct the interview. Yes. And very often we also don't pay too much attention to what needs to happen during that process. So how would you best advise someone to prepare for it?
Research, and more research. You need to ensure that you walk into that interview confident and prepared. And in order to achieve that, You can do a random internet search as well. You need to understand the organization that has invited you for the interview. It is also permissible to ask for the names of the people that will be interviewing you as well. Then you can also check out their profiles, on LinkedIn, so that you feel familiar by the time you are conducting the interview and you are less nervous. So it's important that you do research, and remember, this is an opportunity to stand out, and you want to do so in the best possible way. So how you dress also speaks volumes about who you are, or the impression that you give to the people that will be interviewing you. How do you put your best foot forward? My advice is always to rather dress in business attire, but again, this speaks to the type of organization or the culture of the organization that you will be attending the interview at. So that will, of course, be informed by the research in itself.
And there's always that pesky question that they ask in interviews. So is there anything that you would like to ask? You know, what can you perhaps ask at that point?
So I would steer away from sensitive information or requesting sensitive information, especially at the first interview. Rather stick to gauging on the type of culture of the organization, just to get an idea of how you would also fit. For me, that gives their employer an indication of how you're considering yourself and how you would fit into the organization. So I would advise that you ask questions pertaining to how the culture of the organization is, if it's a new role or if it's a replacement role, what the expectations of you are within that specific role as well is a very valid question to ask.
Lydia, just a final one, social media.
Yes.
Facebook, Twitter. You know, in some instances, the employer does look at that.
Yes.
So what advice do you have to dispense there?
I would definitely say at the onset, before you even submit your CV, do a due diligence. Clean up your social media. So if you wouldn't put certain photos of yourself on your CV, then don't do that on your social media profile. It's important that there's that alignment. Remember, this is the touch points that speak to your personal brand. And again, it's always about putting your best foot forward. So how do you best do that? Would you feel comfortable if the tables were turned? Would you interview somebody who conducts themselves in the way that you do on social media? So do a due diligence, do a clean up, make sure that your social profile is aligned to the person that you're representing on CV and also at the interview if you have that opportunity.
Well, thank you so much for all that advice. Our guest, Lydia Siziba, Marketing Manager for PPS Foundation, talking to us about job preparedness and some of the tips that one could hone into. And we are going to take a short break. And when we come back, that book that Leanne